Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. Hopefully it finds you all doing well. Today we're going to talk about one of the epics from the Tatura Rimehide fusion. Tatura Rimehide, we all know that he, or it's a he, right? It's a he.
Let me take a selfie.
We all know that he's worth it, but it looks kind of, yeah, it's a guy. It's a dude, right? It's a dude lion. Is it a lion? What is that thing?
You know what?
Man, this video is already off the rails, and what are we, like 30 seconds in? I apologize, guys. I apologize. How about Visionary? So why are we talking about Visionary, this epic in particular? Why did I build her? It's because about a week ago, when I did a video reviewing all of the new champions just on paper, right? I hadn't built any of them out, hadn't tried them out at all. I get a lot of comments that I was just dead wrong on this champion. A lot of people referring to my colleague and friend, Hell Hades, saying this champion looked amazing in his champion review video. I said she looked kind of underwhelming. And then I went on to Hell Hades' website and he has her ranked as one of the highest epics in the game. So I'm thinking to myself, I should have just collabed with Hades and kind of had a debate about this now that I'm saying it on the video. But I figured, you know what? I'm not afraid of being wrong. God knows I'm wrong enough. I know. So I want to do a guide on this champion and give her a fair shake. So who is she? Visionary. Dark Elf. Looks pretty cool. Ironically, she appears to be blind. So apparently all her vision is coming from the visions that she has internally here. Overall, aesthetically, I really like the look of this champion. Very pleasing to the eye. Very, very cool. In terms of the skills here, we have on the A1, Ectoplasm, attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance, can't be booked up higher than 30. So 30% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. The chance increases to 100 if the target is under decreased crit rate or decreased crit damage debuff. Okay, she has both of those debuffs in her kit, but you know, 15% turn meter manipulation, to me, doesn't seem that unreasonable to put that at 100% just as is. Although it'd be really good, it's still, you know, I don't know. I don't like the qualifiers, but whatever. I'm gonna stop being biased here, right? A2 attacks all enemies, has a 100% chance of placing a decreased crit rate and a decreased crit damage debuff on all enemies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Okay, not bad. Decreased crit rate, 30%, decreased crit damage, 25%. You know, it can mitigate those really, really massive hits that are gonna, you know, one-shot one of your characters. On the A3, Dark Dealings, we have an increased crit rate and an increased crit damage on all allies for 2 turns, and then fills their turn meter of all allies by 15%. This is also on a 3-turn cooldown. So interestingly enough here, 25% decreased crit damage, but 30% increased crit damage? That's kind of weird, huh? Why don't we make them both 30%? Anyway, whatever, just kind of noticing that. The aura, very, very good on this character. Increase ally speed in dungeons by 24%. It's a good dungeon, a very good dungeon aura to have if you're looking for that speed aura for dungeons in the game. So you have her kit. Reviews so far, there's like 9 of them, so don't read anything into this. Kind of mixed, right? As I mentioned, when you go into the nice. The good old Hell Hades, he has by the way, hellhades.com, man, he's been doing some real work on that website. Him and his team, they're absolutely killing it. I use this website all the time now. He has the overall champion score. He has every dungeon, what they're ranked at. I use the Yumi Love as well, but Hades is really, and they do kind of a thorough write-up as well. So anyway, 4.5 though is one of his highest ranked epics out there. Like that's really a massive score. So again, kind of getting back to the game here, I'm like, okay, what am I missing on this champion, right? Because I think I want to be clear, she doesn't seem like she's trash, but is she worth building 2 of, essentially, if you're going to go for the fusion, you know? Is she worth building if you're not going to go for the fusion, but if you happen to get her? So that's the question that I hope to answer in today's video. Masteries, we went War Master. She's one of those kind of interesting champions. They're kind of unique where they have really strong buffs and debuffs. So you want to go ahead and pick up Master Hexer and Lasting Gifts. So if you take a look at the support tree here, we're going to kind of go on both sides, right? Lasting Gifts extend the duration of buffs, increased crit damage, increased crit rate, and the same thing with the decrease on the Master Hexer. And then we just kind of hugged the left-hand corner here and went with the, what way do I need to turn to let you guys see it? Went with the War Master Mastery. So there's that. I chose Relentless Gear for her. She's kind of easy to build, right? You only really care about speed and accuracy. Accuracy and speed. Having some crit rate is nice as well. So that's kind of all I did, right? I focused on speed. I put her in Relentless Gear. She's fine in Perception. She's great in Perception. Great in Accuracy Gear. Great in Speed Gear as well. But I like Relentless because the whole idea behind Relentless is if I proc enough extra turns, I get more turn meter fill, obviously, but I have the increased crit rate, increased crit damage, and decreased crit rate, decreased crit damage up kind of all the time if I get lucky and I build her fast enough. So that's my goal here because, you know, increased crit rate is an interesting buff, but if you don't have it half the time, it's not like you're going to go into a battle building champions with, you know, 70% crit rate. Not like a crit aura or a crit rate aura. Crit rate auras I find way more useful than the crit rate buff, you know? Do you guys with me there? Because you want to have it all the time. Otherwise, who really cares if you're letting, you know, non-critical hits or weak hits or whatever. Anyway, so into the artifact sets here, guys. We went crit rate on the gauntlets. You can go, you know, HP on the gauntlets. You can go defense on the gauntlets. There's some flexibility there. You can go, I went HP on the chest. Defense is totally fine. Attack is totally fine if you want to get a little bit of damage out of her. She's not awful damage dealer. If we look at the multipliers on her, why not go back to Hell Hades here, right?
What about us? What about all the time?
Hell Hades has the multipliers just like a Yumi Love as well. A 3.2 on the attack, a 3.3 on the A1, excuse me, a 3.3 on the A2, which is pretty weak in terms of an AoE attack. So she's not really a damage dealer. So I did give her some crit rate, but she puts out a very average amount of damage for a support champion, which isn't a ton. Speed on the boots. Accuracy on the banner, crit damage on the amulet. You can go defense or HP as well. And I went attack on the ring, trying to give her enough sustainability, but also give her a little bit of a punch behind her AoE attack and her A1, which isn't bad, that 3.3 multiplier. Her base stats, 1277, nothing to write home about. 1000, not too bad, not too great. 1500, again, a little below average there. So her base stats really don't stand out. Even speed. If they gave this champion, I don't know, 108 speed, let's say, made her on the fast side, 107, put her like a Stag Knight type speed, 108 Archmage Helmet, I would be way more bullish on her. But for me, you know, I built plus 130 speed and I'm at 235, and, you know, while she's fast, I don't know. You guys can be the judge. I think that, you know, I'm going to cut to the chase here as we jump into the arena. Where can you use her first off, right? I think in theory, to me, she seems like a pretty cool champion. She can be a speed booster in the arena for you guys, right? That's one area you can use her, even in tandem with Arbiter. So let's go ahead and try her out here. Let's go against this team here. I have this team kind of set up, right? So Arbiter's going to come in. She's my speed lead. She's also going to be my first speed booster. And then we're going to speed boost again. We're going to apply the increased crit damage and crit rate to Trunda. Let me see what Trunda's crit rate is right now. So it's over 100, so we're already good there. But, and then Madame Sarah's going to be our debuffer. So you can use her as a kind of a booster in the arena. For me, this is the #1 use case for her, right? Because, and I feel like I should give this, okay, so I'm not going to go with A2, I'm going to go A3 first, right? So that's going to apply the buffs, increase crit race, increase crit damage, and then Trunda should be able to kill everybody, right? So a pretty good speed booster. Not the best in the game, but not the worst in the game, right? You can get some utility out of her, and then she can come back around with her A2 if you need the extra damage, if it goes longer than just the first shot, and hopefully finish off the enemies. Let's go ahead and do another arena battle and just try her A. We're probably going to lose to this team, but let's just give it a shot, right? We do have, you know, the right affinity matchup, Spirit against Force for Kandrafon, but Trunda should be able to take care of him anyway, right? So let's see what we can do. They're going to have the Chris Shield as well, but Madame Ceres will remove that for us. So Madame Ceres goes up. She's going to go ahead and remove, as we said, and then we're going to come in with, you know what, guys? Let's just, this is not how we would normally do it. We're always going to open up with the A3, but let's just see how much damage she can get off of the A2 here. Not much, right? I saw around 10 to 20k damage. So really, like I said, very average to below average damage dealer. We might lose here. I'm just going to put on auto, but I'm going to come back for revenge, starting off with the A3 instead, and I think we'll be okay, because we need that turn meter boost so Trunda doesn't get cut in line, right? So let's go ahead and get our revenge here, and then we'll talk more about this champion overall. Now, so far, so good, right? I mean, viable speed booster in the arena. Pretty cool. I think I'd still have Archmage Helmet over her personally.
I never asked for this.
He has the increased crit damage, increased speed as well on his buff. But she does have the that nice turn meter boost. So let's try again. A3 this time. There we go. Now everything's right in the world. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We're good. We're good. Canderfon always scares me, man. Canderfon, a legendary that I really want, man. He's one of the legendaries that has been on my most wanted list just as a Force Arena nuker for a while now. Let's go ahead and do one more battle here. Pretty easy team, to be fair, but still. You know, let's switch things up. Let's take Trunda out and put, like, I don't know. Let's put, you know what? I say that I wanted to show you guys Fushan. I have 2 max champions, 2 fully empowered champions, and one of them is Fushan. Let's go ahead and give Fushan a chance here instead, right? So come back in here again. So I like that you can run her as a second speed booster. I like that you can run her as a main speed booster, but again, her low base speed, 98's not super low, but it's not helping you, right? We need higher, and that's another reason I prefer Archmage Helmet over her, because, you know, as you start scaling gold 3, gold 4, platinum, you know, it's gonna get a little bit more challenging. So we should be able to kill everybody with Fushan, and we do. So you guys I would say she's an above average speed booster for the arena, but still not the best option out there, even in the epic category. Let's talk a little bit about Faction Wars, right? Certainly, you can use her in Faction Wars. Let's go to Faction Wars Stage 21. I've been messing around with a few different teams. I didn't want to put a bunch of OP legendaries and OP artifacts around her and say, there, she's good, guys, she's great. Because truth is a team like this, they're gonna fail, man, I think. Let's try it out, though. Let's try it out. So I have, what, 2 legendaries, a Vizix, who's obviously freed. Yeah?
Sometimes I'll start a sentence, and I don't even know where it's going.
And then we also have Rule, who was a fragment summon, so semi-accessible when it comes to legendaries on this team. Get through the first couple waves, hopefully pretty easily. When we get to the red boss, though, I'm not sure. And the question that I just kind of want to ask you guys is, I tried her everywhere in the game before this video, right? Tried her in Clan Boss, tried her on Hydra, Demon Lord, and Hydra Clan Boss. Tried her, because the people forget that the bosses in this game, that crit rate will take away all of their crits, you know? The bosses in this game don't have super high crit rates. They're not 100% crit rates. So one decreased crit rate debuff can mitigate those really hard-hitting hits from bosses sometimes that can one-shot one of your champions. So in that regard, definitely some use case there, right? But to me, is she bringing enough extra to the table to justify taking up a champion slot with her? And that's how I try to look at every champion in this game, right? Are they bringing enough damage, enough heal, or revival, whatever it may be, enough debuffs? She doesn't have decrease. Like, I would love to see this champion have a weaken on the A1, a decreased speed on the A1, a leech on the A1, something a little bit more, right? Something a little bit more for me. But again, some people really liked her. In the comments of my first video, a lot of people were like, dude, you're estimating the power of those debuffs and buffs on the same champion, which I will grant you, there's not a lot of champions who have those. A kit like this, there's no champion that has both increased crit rate, increased crit damage, decreased crit rate, decreased crit damage in one kit. So in that regard, she's very unique. So I want to throw it to you guys. What do you think? I mean, they're making quick work, this squad of the red boss. I stand corrected. It looks like this is going to be pretty easy here. And she's getting extra turns. You can see the Relentless Gear is proccing. You love to see that. We have, let's take a look at our buffs and debuffs real quick here. So we have decreased crit rate, decreased crit damage. Gonna, again, mitigate damage quite a bit from the red boss. I think a champion like this can certainly help you guys out in Faction Wars, you know? Heck, a champion like this can even be effective at level 50, really, guys. You don't have to go full 6-star with Visionary. Let's see if we wipe here, though. I don't know. No, we'll be okay. Vizix is still standing. She's still healthy, and I think she has lifesteal gear on, too. I might be, I haven't been looking, but I think one of my Vizix does. I have 2 built out. Yeah, she does. So we get the job done. Let's see how much damage she puts out, just out of curiosity. Again, not a damage dealer, but let's see. So Caden in Visionary put out the same amount of damage. which sounds about right. Only thing is Caden has an AoE decreased attack. He also has a good revival, 2 allies with increased defense, I think. So obviously Rule and Vizix put out way more damage, but still, it's not all about damage, and she's not a damage dealer. So I think that she can be a very viable part of a Faction Wars team as well, and you don't have to take her all the way to level 60 to do so. Just make sure you build her to be more sustainable. You don't have to have an attack ring on her or crit damage. Just go defense and HP. Make sure she's not dying, especially if you're not fully maxing her out, right, guys? So let's go ahead and try her out in one more dungeon before we let you go. And let me know what you think of Visionary, guys. Let's take her into Dragon's Lair. Just messing around here. Let's take her on a Dragon's Lair 25 team. Let's just go speedrun style because I don't want to have you guys here all day. I think you guys get the point. Man, Darkhill's so good. Hate to take him out of this team, but I'm going to just to see how we do here on this Dragon squad. Now, this is a more dirty pay-to-win team, so feel free to tune out now if you don't care to see it. Either way, you know, there's not many bosses in this game who have, are there any? I don't know. There's not that many bosses in this game who have a resistance to decrease crit rate, decrease crit damage. So you'll be landing it pretty consistently. And in the arena, you know, that A2, if you already have your team speed tuned, maybe you go in with the A2 first. You put those debuffs on the opponent, put that accuracy chest on her instead, and then you have a chance of landing, you know, mitigating their damage with crit damage debuff and have them landing non-critical hits as well with a decreased crit rate AoE. So there's a couple different ways to play this champion as well. Overall here, as we wrap things up against the Dragon shortly, I will say that I wouldn't rank her a 4.5. I wouldn't say she's one of the best epics in the game. However, I do think I was a little bit low on her on my initial reactions, so I will give you guys that. I would say she's kind of like a B- champion in the game, so I think on a 1 to 5 scale, I would probably put her at 3.5. What about you guys? What do you think of this champion? Who should be building her? I would say progression, you know, progression, or someone who wants to try something a little bit new in the arena or in tag team arena. So that's who I would say should be focused on this champion, or just mitigating. If you have a slot open in your clan boss team, you want to mitigate some damage, decrease crit rate, go for it, right? So unique kit, not super powerful. I think she's pretty properly balanced. And just to give credit where credit is due, because I mentioned Hades and his website quite a bit, I don't want to sound like I'm just like, you know, tearing the dude apart, but the people who wrote these articles, his team here, they did say a well-designed epic that is used in all aspects of the game, right? So they said basically a great example of strong but not overpowered. So, you know, overall, I think that I kind of agree with that. She's a pretty strong champion, pretty cool champion. She puts out a little bit of damage there, helps the team stay alive again. Not too bad. So guys, we're gonna wrap the video there. Thank you for watching all the way till the end. I appreciate you guys. And as always, take care, guys.